Coming at you from New Jersey, the capital of misery, and the place where metal forgot to die. This is Here Lies Metal, the podcast that brings you the origins, history, and culture of everything metal. With our hosts, Maledictus and Samanthar. They shall be your overlords for today and all of eternity. Welcome.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Here Lies Metal. This is a news episode again, folks, so we're back with the news. It took a while for there to actually be news, right? So, I mean, we can't make an episode.
Even now, it's still fairly slow.
Yeah, we can't make an episode if there's no news. I can't just keep giving you consistent material if there's literally nothing to talk about. I could just make up stuff, I guess. I mean, I guess the news does that all the time, so.
Why don't you do all that content you're, talking about
I know,
doing?
I should do that. It's hard.
Instead of scraping together one of these episodes.
I know. I should do. Remember back in the old days, people, like for our real listeners, not all of you new people, which, there's 130 of you, like, new people, as opposed to, like, maybe the 8 people that used to listen to us back in the Spotify days. And we used to do, like, documentary episodes, if you guys don't know about that. Check them out on Spotify. They're still there. I would just talk about a subject. It was just me for the beginning, and I would just, do a subject, a documentary on metal, on some sort of metal event or an album. I would do sort of like a cross-section of a legendary metal album or a genre.
We should make up a story that you were alone then because I didn't know you and I heard your podcast and fell in love with you.
That's right. That's why.
That's exactly what happened.
That's why. But no, according to all you people, this is just some girl I'm trying to woo or something, and and I'm not, and it's not working according to some people out there. They're like, would you stop? It's like they don't realize that. Yeah.
They don't think it's working?
No, they think like I'm like just trying to be funny in front of you, like trying to like get you to like me or something. They don't realize
it's not working.
We're married. It's not working, everyone. Yes, it's definitely not working. She doesn't find my jokes funny, but neither do you. So to reply to your comments in the past few weeks, not recently, but in the past few weeks, for that Michael Graves stuff, people, because you keep commenting on that video, it's done. Like I spoke to him on Skype, and there's no conflict. Okay. That's it. Like, there's nothing to worry about.
Moral of the story is that if you make a video shit-talking Michael Graves, you might get to talk to Michael Graves personally. He'll talk to you.
He will. It's fine. He's just a guy. He's just a regular dude.
So if you want to talk to Michael Graves...
You could probably just talk to him anyway.
You could probably just talk to him.
Yeah, he's not going to...
Reach out.
He's not going to snub you, but, I did apologize to him, not for the Proud Boy stuff, but for saying he was irrelevant. That was wrong of me. And if you could, this is Maledictus being humble, and if you could all accept my apology for calling anyone irrelevant.
I mean, there are irrelevant people in this world, like us.
Yeah, and if you called me irrelevant, that would be legitimate, because I've never done anything. But someone that was like in the Misfits when they were 20 years old, that's an irresponsible thing to say to them. That's an ignorant and irresponsible thing to tell that to someone who, when I was 20, I was not in the Misfits. I was, I don't know what I was doing.
So do you think one-hit wonders are relevant?
At least they did something. Like, they failed. But, as William Shatner said...
I think this is more of a question of what the definition of relevant is.
Okay, that's true. No, it's relevant. Irrelevant is relevance. Relevant is all relative. Is that what I'm trying to say? But William Shatner, in one of his, more recent spoken word albums, I'm talking recent as in like 20 years ago, he said it was a song called Has Been. He goes, Has Been? He goes, yes, I'm a has been. I tried. I took a risk. He's like, it's better than it never was. And he's right. It's like,
that's true, but
tried.
That's something a has been would say.
Yeah, but they made it. They were there. It didn't work for them.
No, it's true. But that's what a has been is. It means
right.
They no longer are.
Yes,
but they were, but no longer are.
Yeah, but it might have been circumstances. Maybe they fell and got paralyzed or something.
They were relevant, but no longer are.
Yes, but maybe it was something beyond their control that caused them to not be relevant.
That's irrelevant.
I know, but
how they got there.
The moral of the story is I should be a little more empathetic with my critiques on certain people. I did this one video a while ago on Janie Lane, and it was about like this this sort of thing that happened to him that we don't want to talk about. But
honestly, that was worse.
Yeah, it was always a lot worse than Michael Graves. Yes, by far. But and I said a few bad things about Gene, and I still don't like his music. I think his music is garbage. Okay, but
it wasn't that what you said was bad.
Yeah, that wasn't the bad part.
It was just the
insensitivity.
The context in which you said it. Was inappropriate.
It was insensitive to someone like him, because he had a lot of problems. So, and I was insensitive to the problems he had, especially to someone who like died the way he did. So yes. So I took that video down because it was just wasn't working. Okay, that's the only time I ever censored myself. But anyway, speaking of censorship, a lot of you are complaining about comments being deleted, and I do not know what's going on. I would never, ever delete your your wonderfully generous comments. I would never ever do that, no matter how generous they are. I would never ever do that, no matter how vile. I wouldn't do that. Somehow there's something on YouTube that kills them if there's words in them, like the F gay word. Maybe YouTube doesn't like that word. I don't know.
So bizarre.
So they delete them. I wouldn't have deleted it. I would let you call me that if you want to, but like they don't. So I'm sorry, guys. I didn't I didn't mean to do it. So this is being as this is a news episode, should we possibly get to the news? I think so. We'll make this a quick one. We'll get this over with, as Peter Steele used to say. What do we got here? We got sad news. Okay, folks. So remember, I once did a cross section of an album featuring this great late drummer, Kurzlake, who just died recently at the age of 73. Now he was sick for a while. So this isn't like super oh my God, Kurzlake died.
He hadn't been playing with Uriah Heep since 2018.
Right, which is a lot later than I thought he was playing with Uriah Heep.
He had prostate cancer at that point for 4 years, so he'd been ill for some time.
Yes. By the way, this is from the Corey Taylor News Network, as you could see. I'm going to give my sources now. I haven't been doing that, and I should. It's kind of wrong for me to just kind of claim this as my own. He was featured, of course, in the Blizzard of Ozzy album, which is one of the best metal albums ever made, I should say. I know you'd all agree with that. There was a lot of conflict with him and Ozzy. I'm pretty sure he was thrown out of the band right after that, or Sharon threw him out of the band, whatever it was. And I know him and Bob Daisley were kind of teaming up to sort of fight Ozzy on the rights of that album to really be recognized, because they were literally taken off the album. They kind of re-recorded the album, and I think they put Robert Trujillo on the bass and whatever drummer they were working with at the time. I don't know, but and they replaced basically both of their tracks, and that was like a thing. I think they put them back on. I think they kind of were like, all right, that was a bad mistake. Let's change that. But recently, he was given the platinum records or gold records or whichever records they were. Let's see, does it say it up here? Because Ozzy just definitely, Ozzy totally gave him a shout out. Platinum plaques, yeah. So in January 2019, reports emerged that Ozzy had given the terminally ill musician the platinum plaques for the Blizzard of Oz and Diary of Mad. So he was in Diary of Madman, and I should get my facts straight. Basically the two, only, kind of the only Ozzy albums worth listening to. The third one's okay as well, but those are just kind of, flawless for the most part.
He was also on all the good
Uriah Heep. Yeah.
Records.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he was. I think of him really as Uriah Heep's
I don't think he was a founding drummer.
No, he wasn't the original guy.
But he was like the big one.
Yeah,
the main cool guy.
All the cool stuff of Uriah Heep, which is like sort of mid-70s. Uriah Heep's really early stuff is like meh, but their like main 70s stuff is kind of like a basis of all metal you listen to, and they're not given credit for that. So you should totally listen. King Diamond, biggest Uriah Heep fan in the world, so know that. So there's Lee Kurzlake there, and with I guess Uriah Heep there, guy from Uriah Heep. Yeah. So yeah, rip Lee Kurzlake, one of the greatest, one of the greatest drummers and one of the greatest albums. The guy was definitely not given enough credit for what he did. So rock at you, Lee Kurzlake, wherever you've gone on to. Unfortunately, we have more.
Second obituary here.
Also from the Corey Taylor News Network.
Rough month for Texas hardcore. Not only like 3 weeks maybe since Riley Gale. We have Wade Allison, guitarist for Iron Age, passed away. He was 38, no cause of death released. And yeah, it's just like, what the fuck else can happen now? So yeah, obviously very tragic. He was so young. He also had a family, had a wife and kids. And also just this whole scene, it's like, because Power Trip and Iron Age were very connected. Chris Olsh, the drummer from Power Trip, played live in Iron Age last year, and his other band, Mammoth Grinder, Wade was in Mammoth Grinder at one point. So it's just, just this whole scene, and also their producer, Arthur Rizek, is very close with Wade as well. And it's like, this whole scene is just getting fucked right now.
Yeah, they gave a shout out to this guy here.
I know Iron Age is more, I think they're based in Austin, but, they're Texas bros.
Yeah.
Tight.
Yeah, they're not
certainly very tight.
They're from Austin, but they're not the, I don't think they're the Austin types. I think they're just always from there. There's people that were just always from Austin, that just aren't, I know a lot of people think of Austin, even when we were interviewing that guy from Austin, he even kind of, revealed that, he's not into what's going on there.
Well, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, but.
So yeah, this is just another thing that sucks. They took a break. They released their albums. I think they had 2 albums in the mid 2000s. They're more of a hardcore band than Power Trip, but very influential for Power Trip. Members of Power Trip were like, we would not be here without Iron Age. And they reformed in maybe 2016, and maybe gonna do new material. And they did some tours, but now I don't know. So
yeah, check this album out, I guess. Sleeping High of the Watcher.
So yeah, R.I.P. Wade Allison.
Wade Allison. Okay, what do we got? Now we got news. So, in touring news, and this has kind of been a thing, we've kind of talked about slightly before, but from Metal Sucks More Than hereliesmetal.com. Yes, so America is set to increase visa fees for foreign touring bands, and this is I feel like just the process of getting a visa for America caused a number of bands to drop out of Psycho last year.
Yeah,
a number of them.
For that, it seemed to be bureaucratic reasons.
It's just a money thing.
Not the money thing.
No, yeah.
I think Psycho probably would have paid.
Sure, they would have paid, right? But
visas if they needed to. But it was just obviously whatever agencies take care of this is understaffed, and the process was already bad. So now it's just more expensive and probably still sucks. So
yeah. So look at this: the price of a P-class visa, whatever that means, which applies to most bands. I guess when you're working as a band, has increased 51%. Is now $695. Now, to a lot of bands, people $695, big deal. For a lot of these bands, I think that's a significant amount of money.
Yeah, it won't mean shit to Behemoth.
Sure.
But a lot of the shit that we like and are excited to see
that's
come from
everything.
Europe, that's
probably a lot of the money they're making.
They're already operating probably at a razor thin margin, maybe even taking a loss potentially if they don't sell enough shirts.
Sure.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
At this point, at that scale, every expense is a big deal. So, yeah.
Also, the O-class visa, I'm not sure of what visa types are. I've never had to really... Well, I did get one once, but I don't know what kind it was. It was all in Russian. Which applies to some artists, has increased 53%. That's a little percent. It's a lot of money. $406 to $705. That's a huge amount of money. So yeah, and a lot of these bands just might come here for exposure. It might be taking a loss, and they know it's oh yeah, we're gonna go to America. We're just gonna go to America because we can. And, we're gonna get known there. That's a reasonable transaction for some bands. Some bands are willing to do that. For the sake of recognition.
Yeah, I would say for small bands, you'll see much less kind of independent tours. Maybe some of the people who came over for Psycho and then had little tours like that, or maybe they come for Maryland Death Fest or something, another big, a large festival that might be willing to front to have some kind of culty band come over that's not a huge name, but people will go crazy for because they're never come over here.
Right.
And then maybe they can make a little hay out of a little tour from coming. But other than that, I don't know. It's just making it harder for something that was already quite hard.
Right, it's gonna really affect like smaller bands from getting in. You're gonna have to like deal with seeing Behemoth or something now because it's not gonna be a problem for them. As if
Well, we're not going to any concerts anytime soon. This is the plague lands.
I'm definitely not seeing Behemoth anytime soon.
They'll all be touring in Europe well before we're prepared to even admit them for a concert.
Yeah, like Europe would be like, we're just playing here. I think cases are going up there. They're kind of like, oh shit, we probably shouldn't be doing this.
Well, I think they're hitting the second wave that we haven't hit yet.
Well, we've never gotten out of a first wave, so I don't think we can have a second wave. It's like you can't really have one because
our first wave is crashing all over the country at different points. So
that's true. Yeah, it's the thing. Everyone's in different parts, whereas Europe is all kind of in the same schedule. Like we're all in different schedules, so there's no real way to like really predict anything here. So if you're listening from another country, that is. So yeah, there's a official waiting period of 15 days, and though past issues have taken significantly longer for some bands, that probably caused a lot of problems at Psycho last year. An expedited explanation, it can be purchased for $1,000. What a fucking scam! Seriously, it's all a fucking scam. Fuck all this shit. So yeah, let's move on to the next story. So we always talk about this. Every couple of months, Ozzy's always like, and last year before the whole plague thing, I was like, he's never touring again. People just fucking deal with it because he had canceled that tour because he had gotten injured. This was before, the whole pandemic. He had gotten injured, fell off. Something happened. We fell in the shower or something. I don't know. I forgot what the fuck happened
Parkinson's.
to him. And he has Parkinson's, but it was before that he even.
Well, yeah, he canceled before he announced the Parkinson's, but he clearly has had Parkinson's.
Yeah, when we announced that
a long time.
Yeah, when we announced that, I was like, obviously, yes. Come on, give me a break. By the way, this is from boomermouth.com. I ain't done yet.
I ain't done yet. How ominous.
He always says that, though. He's always saying that, is just going to have this big No More Tears, No More Tours 2, as if No More Tours 1, which happened like in 1992. That wasn't the last one, but, he just keeps on going, and he's in horrendous condition. I mean,
yeah, he keeps on doing all these interviews for no apparent reason, just talking about how he's still not feeling good.
Yeah, like how is he gonna? Now more than ever. Like, say everything was fine now. Like, how would he be able to go on tour?
I don't think it was in this article. I saw him say in another place, that he just wants to play at least one more show before he dies.
One show.
He's gonna die at that show.
It's going to happen, people. I keep saying this, and I hate to sound morbid. It's going to happen soon. Like, we're going to be all really, like, hopefully it doesn't happen in 2020, because then we'd all be like, that's the fucking worst fucking year ever. If Ozzy just topped it off, like, in December or something, So let's hope, we don't get that. But if it does, like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, it's he's at the end of it, man. And, obviously he's really rich, so he has the best health care and everything, but that can only go so far. This past July, Ozzy said he was stood back 100% after suffering from several medical issues last year, including a fall, neck surgery, hospitalization for the flu. Ozzy also said he was looking forward to performing again once he's regained his health, and the coronavirus pandemic has subsided. So, and this was the pandemic kind of came when he was kind of expecting to go back out and tour. I think he had dates booked. I think.
Well, they had canceled and they had rescheduled. I think for right? 21.
Yeah. Oh, was it 21? So it was originally 21.
So I don't think he had to cancel anything because of the virus.
Okay, I thought I was under the impression that he did. Okay.
So, I can't quite recall, but
yeah, no, I think you're right. I think he was going for 2020, and I was really skeptical when I heard that. I was like, okay, there you go, 2021. Good luck. I was like, good luck with that. So now everyone's gonna do that.
According to that, he did have 2020 shows rescheduled.
Oh,
maybe at the end of this year.
Right, towards the end. Okay.
But yeah, I'm telling you, he's gonna hold on until he gets back on stage.
Well, I guess one more.
In 2031, when the coronavirus is conquered, and
all but
of course, the rest of the world has had America quarantined for 11 years.
We treat it like measles at that point, yeah.
And Ozzy will just be waiting to shuffle on stage.
He'll still be alive. I'm fucking waiting for you.
He'll only be 83.
Yeah, which under normal circumstances, like. For normal people, it was like, oh yeah, he's 83, he lived a good life. But these guys, Ozzy seems so old now. Especially there's pictures of him recently where you can see him with the gray hair, and he just looks, because he's not getting done up anymore. There's no need for him to get done up because obviously he's being heavily cosmeticized here, and so was his wife. I mean, let's face it. Now you kind of see him how he really looks, and
I mean, he looks like an old man.
Like an old man because he is an old man. He is
an old man.
Most people look at, and there's certain people out there that don't really bother. Look at James Hetfield. He's only in his 50s. He looks really old because that's how a 50-something-year-old looks. Look at Dave
he's
Mustaine.
had a rough life too.
He has. He did a lot of drinking. Dave Mustaine too. He looks pretty old. Then you have Matt Pike, who's only 47, who is I don't know, Matt Pike, man, you should be doing a little bit better. But
I think he's living clean now.
He is now, and he's looking better now. He's losing weight. He used to have that belly, because he was always drinking. But he stopped with that. So yeah, he's definitely in a better position right now.
Yeah, when you stop dyeing your hair, you look a lot older.
You look older. My hair is still real, by the way. But it's turning.
My hair's growing out.
It's growing out. But you're still you're not really gray yet. But me, it's there. But if I cut my hair short, you'd really see it, because there's other layers of hair that are just blocking the gray. That's doesn't make logical sense, but that's what's happening. So Ozzy, my where my bet is in the great in the great pool of where you'll be in a year, and it's not and it's not it's morbid. It's in a morbid place. I'm sorry, but you guys are all dying, and you guys, the way you treat yourself, you don't get to live long. You just don't, so sorry to be a morbid blackest. I just made it up right now. Next story. Okay, this is kind of funny. This guy, you'll like this guy, I know.
I really don't like his face. Can we not look at it?
He has such a punchable face. Don't you want to? How did he get a face like that? He doesn't look like he should run $1 billion company, right? He looks like he should work at Starbucks in the Midwest, in Kansas or something. Hey, can I get your order, sir? That's what he looks like. No,
he looks like he should be working in tech.
Yeah, but not, just like an IT guy.
I mean, I don't think, I'm not commenting that he looks like an unsuccessful person. I just hate his face.
It's a punchable face.
I'm sorry.
I know you all. No, he does. But he doesn't look like a CEO that's making billions of dollars a year. He does not look like that.
That's just because he's young.
He is young, but
when he looks older, you'll think he does.
He doesn't look confident. When he was in front of Congress, he was like, you're one of the most powerful people on earth. You could just be they'll ask you a question. So, what's this guy's name? Why can't I remember his name? That is stupid of me. What is his name? They don't even say. Does anyone remember his name? Comment.
I feel like what is his name? Only reason I can't remember it is because you're not remembering.
Yeah, that's why. They just gotta say no. We gotta get no. Just quickly. What the fuck is this guy's name?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg. Why can I forget? That's a stupid name. If I had that name, I would jump off a building. Anyway, so when they were asking him in Congress, they were I forget what they were questioning him for. It was something to do with censorship, I think, and Facebook or something. And he's totally just a bitch in their arms. He's well, I think, and he kind of looked like a lizard person because he never blinks. So people were maybe kind of theorizing that maybe he's a lizard person, which is plausible. I mean, if you believe in that kind of thing, then I would apply it to him. For sure. I would think he is one, for sure. Him and, Jeff Bezos and even Donald Trump, or they're the They Live people, They Live, which is real.
Let's talk about the story.
Real. Okay, but one more thing. He was just if I were him, I would just be I'll be I am the most powerful fucking person in the world. What the fuck do you want to know from me? That's what I would tell them. I'd be go fuck yourselves. But, he was just so what's going on here? This is bad for bands like you, and possibly even bigger bands, quite potentially. So, by the way, this is from Metal Erection. I'll just call them Metal Erection. I don't have a name for them. They don't really offend me anyway. So, New Guidelines by Facebook. You want to read this, or should I read this?
I'd rather not read it, but I can summarize.
Yeah, you do. Fine.
They released some guidelines. It's going to go in effect October 1st, so we're not yet there yet. And it redefined. I think they also created this service for bands to live stream and to kind of make it as a ticketed environment, so you could potentially monetize it. And as a result, they updated some policies that are very vague, especially for bands that are maybe in that mid-range where they might not own the rights to their music, or it's copyrighted to their label. And so if they play their own music on their Facebook page and not their labels, and they collect money from it, all their shit might get taken down, basically. And it's not very clear to the bands at this point, and it's a bit troubling.
Yeah, it's just like it's your music, but it's not your music because you don't have the licensing for it. So there was a funny thing that is kind of related to this in a way on YouTube, and this can happen to you on YouTube as well. I don't see why you can't on YouTube detects music or whatever. Like say you play like a cover song or something. Obviously you would definitely get popped. But famous bass player Lee Sklar, he's like Phil Collins' bass player. He had a little channel going where he would play his bass along with like Phil Collins songs that he was like, hey, look in there from. I was like, oh cool, Lee Sklar's playing this game, and he talked about the song and how he recorded it. And then one day he got popped. So he couldn't play his songs anymore. And he couldn't, this old boomer, he couldn't understand why. He's like,
I'm playing on it.
He made a whole video. He's like, God, they burned me. And it's like, listen, old boomer, like, do you get how this works? Like, you play, like, he was like, I literally played on the song. He's like, I literally helped write this song and recorded it. It's like, no, it don't work that way, old man. Like, you don't have the rights to the song. Some fucking, like, corporate record label has the rights to the song. So you play it, even though you might, like, have even been there with Phil Collins when he wrote it, doesn't mean shit. Like, it's not, that's the way the industry works.
And by the way, also, like, say if the band, like, always does a certain cover, like, that's obviously out.
Oh, yeah.
No covers.
Yes, that's out of the question.
Even if that's, like, a regular part of your set or something, and you're not a cover band, it's just one thing you do. But what I thought was strange about this was that, I understand, like, when you're playing, like, literally, like, the song off the album, the recorded version. But when you're doing a live performance of it, isn't that different?
It might not detect it. It could potentially not detect it. I mean, or might if it's really, usually they're not that clear, so it's hard for like when we.
But I don't understand why the label would be able to claim that. It's like, how?
Yeah, that's like like what do you mean by how? Like what do you mean?
Like they're playing a live version of their song.
Yeah.
Like, does the label own that? They own the actual recorded song that was released on the album.
I think it's just the intellectual property. I don't think it matters how you're playing it. It's you're playing it. It's
because there was like some provision on these rules that mentioned like streaming a live performance. Like, so like the couple videos we've taken are fine, but obviously ours aren't monetized as well.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. That's why there's this hazy rule is that like they're saying like if you're going to like ticket your live performance, we're going to be looking at it a lot closely on what's allowed. And so it's like, yeah, like I think a band could put up something for free, no problem.
Okay.
But it's where it gets to this monetization aspect, which, you know, a lot of people are trying to look into how to monetize, you know, a live performance in the times of COVID.
Yeah, especially now. Well, I don't think bands should be doing that. I think you should be selling merch and forget about the music. Like, forget about trying to charge. I always tell people this. I'm like, stop charging fucking people for music. Like, you could go on Spotify and just listen to it.
We're not talking about the recorded music. We're talking about the live
or the show.
Live show.
The show.
Live stream.
The show, since you're not going there, you're not really experiencing, the show should be free.
I agree completely.
Okay.
Because like you miss a lot of the experience just watching a stream of the show. It's nothing like being there in person.
Right. There's no overhead to pay a club. And I'm sorry, and I feel sorry for the clubs. They can't make this money. I'm sure the record labels are losing some money out of that too. I don't know how that whole transaction works. Comment down below if you do. But yeah, like there's obviously people not making. But we can't be charging music if you're sitting home watching it. Like we can't be doing that. I
mean, it's like, and your own band probably has like, you know, hundreds of hours of previously recorded concerts back in normal the before times
that nobody cared about. Right.
Well, that people watch and like the people do care about it.
But you know,
and they're like, oh, I love watching this concert video. It's a few years old, and they just set up a live stream, and I have to pay $15 to watch it, and it's going to be available for a limited time only. And it's like, no, it's a fucking ripoff.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry.
Right. And like I said, all that stuff is all over YouTube. We took a film of Midnight playing. No one's like giving us a problem about that, and why should they? You know, like I don't think Midnight would even care that we put that up. They're not gonna be like, hey, that's an hour. You're gonna take that. They're not gonna do that. Like, even if it sounds good or if it sounds bad.
You know, like I think bands shouldn't be looking to monetize like a live stream of them playing as sort of a concert replacement. Like, yeah, push the merch and the physical sales, like the nice vinyl or whatever, if they're able to, if they're in a position to be printing vinyl.
Sell the merch.
But like
A lot of these bands sell tapes now.
it's like unfortunate, but like you're gonna have to be more scrappier. Like today, I was on Instagram and oh, Hell Ripper is live. I can just watch the Hell Ripper guy fucking practice. Okay.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? If you were a fan, you'd want to watch that.
And it's like, you imagine him charging for that? Or like,
so, yeah, you're really
like
gonna
obviously
charge?
he was just practicing, but it was like, he was interacting with people, and it's like,
yeah.
I know a lot of bands wouldn't be willing to do that, but that, that's probably more the future.
I like that
than these one-time live stream events.
Yeah, this pandemic has brought like some bands closer to their fans. I mean, some bands. In an ironic way like that, because you could maybe go live stream and talk to them. There's a lot of bands right now, and I don't know if they were doing this before, that are have their little live streams. They're not necessarily playing, but they're communicating with their fans by watching a movie or something with them, or there's a couple of bands that are doing this. Just like, hey, so this is what we're doing since we can't tour anymore.
We watched a movie with Cremator.
There you go. And he talked. He responded.
He told me to go fuck myself.
He didn't like you, but I was commenting.
He was joking.
Yeah, he was being funny. But, he was responding to all of my comments. I was talking to Sleazy P. Martini from Guar. You can watch movies with him and do stuff with him. A lot of people are probably out there. So, check them out and talk to them. You could talk to them. They're people. I'm a person. Stop giving me hard comments. Talk to me instead. If you don't like something I say. You don't like anything. You don't like my face. You just want to punch it. I get it. So, yeah. So, unfortunately, that is what these giant corporations versus rock and roll, it's more and more becoming a problem. It's always been that way, but the big labels always had the control. But now you have people like this involved because they're controlling the media of it.
This will also affect Instagram as well, by the way, since obviously Facebook owns Instagram.
Yeah, there you go. And it's always been a problem on YouTube too. So.
But maybe everyone will be on Twitch. Or YouTube, I don't know.
Yeah, Twitch, do they allow the music? Like, it seems like they do, because like I said, you'll always be watching a game video, and I'll be like, why are they playing copyrighted music? How are they able to do that? And you're like, they just are. I'm like, but why?
I'm not quite sure myself, but it's complicated. Like if you replay that as a VOD, you can't hear the copyrighted music.
If you did it
but if you watch the stream, you can.
When it's live, yeah. Only when it's live will it work, yeah.
It's kind of like, how could we upload episodes to Spotify with copyrighted music on them?
Yeah, we can't. Well, yeah, that's true. That's never been a problem. Never had a problem doing that. It's never been a problem. But I've just done like a small sample of copyrighted music on YouTube before, and boom, they'll crack it like that. So bing bang boom. Yeah. Yeah, so that's going to be the new. This is the next.
We'll have to see what happens when these rules go into effect October 1st.
Yeah,
as to what it means.
It affects some of these bands
on all the people using Facebook and Instagram streaming.
Yes, or all the bands that need that. So yeah, we'll figure it out as we go. Maybe this is the next Napster like controversy. Maybe it'll lead to that. If you all remember that 20 years ago. Our problems were so much more simple back then. Also from Metal Erection, this one's kind of close to home. Now, maybe you guys out there don't know if you're out in Australia or some shit like that. If you don't know, college metal station WSOU deemed satanic by Catholic protesters. Now, basically, these Catholic protesters were.
Let's explain what WSOU is.
Yes, let's start with that. So WSOU has been a college metal station out of Seton Hall in South Orange.
Pirate Radio.
They're called Pirate Radio. Yeah, their mascot
pirate.
for their football team, whatever the fuck the team they have is a pirate.
But they call it Pirate Radio.
Yes, and it's been called that as long as I remember. I've been listening to WSOU. Well, not.
Now this isn't a typical college station though.
Yeah, it plays metal.
It plays only metal. Or in hard rock.
In prime time. On the weekends, they'll play like the Celtic Heritage Hour.
Yeah, but like most college stations, they have, it's whatever that kid is in there feels like doing or whatever. They're just whatever, playing like indie college rock. Like that's where college rock comes from.
Yeah.
But this station has always been metal.
Yeah. I've been listening to it since I was 12. Literally, it was around when I was 12. They used to play like Manowar songs back then. They played Typo Negative songs back then. I remember, everything really, or whatever. A lot of this was like the height of thrash, so a lot of it was like Testament and Overkill. Overkill was a big band on WSOU back in the day, but it's still around today, and they're being protested by.
Also, Seton Hall is a Catholic university.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to mention it's also Catholic.
And so, despite being metal, this radio station is censored. They censor the lyrics, and it's some of the most benign shit that they will censor, like hell. Mm-hmm. They will censor hell.
You can't say hell.
Obviously, they'll censor Satan. I think they'll censor like demon.
Yep. Anything God, even God.
Say God.
They have to say Lamb. They have to call Lamb of God Lamb of G. Because they can't say. Meanwhile, a band like Lamb of God used to literally be called Burn the Priest. But they will play all these really like vulgar songs. I listen to them every day because I'm still using driving Sam's car to work, and like it only has a radio. It doesn't. So I literally will just sit there.
I don't just have a radio. You just don't know how to use the Bluetooth.
I don't know how to use it. Does my iPhone even do that?
You could bring an aux cord in there as well.
I could. Yeah.
You could solve all your own problems.
Wait. Would that work with the iPhone though? The aux cord? Because the iPhone doesn't. Well, the iPhone has a headphone jack, right?
Oh, you need a dongle.
Do you need a dongle for that? See, there you go. They can't even make it easy. But anyway.
I think your phone actually is.
Yeah, I think my phone still has the thing. Yeah, it has a headphone jack. But anyway, so I listen there, and the music they play is just fucking terrible. It is like all the garbage and metal hits, like for 20-year-olds, I guess. Comment down below if you listen to WS and you know what this stuff is. Occasionally they'll play like some song.
It's like post-gentcore.
I don't know what it is. I don't know how to identify it because it's not in my universe. It's for 20-year-olds. It's metal for 20-year-olds, and it makes no sense. It is the worst garbage ever. But a lot of these songs aren't necessarily like, clean songs. There's a lot of, mentions of demons or hell or whatever, just casually. It's not even like they're trying to be that edgy.
They've played Ghost.
They used to play. I haven't heard Ghost on there in a while.
Well, Ghost isn't active right now.
Yeah, that's true. But I think they'd play like an older song from Ghost. I literally haven't heard a Ghost song on there in a while.
But I've definitely heard some ridiculous censorship of Ghost songs.
Yeah, they'll just all of a sudden there'll be like a bleep, and it's like, what? He didn't say a curse there. I know this song. It's like, oh, he really bleeped that out? Seriously?
Well, they don't do the hard bleep. They just do like
it's like a scramble. It's like a scramble.
It's like
sound.
the omission of sound. Like they sucked out the sound from that moment. It's very.
It's like coded. It just goes.
You're just like, did I mishear that or?
Yeah, it's really. Was there an error in the play?
It sounds like an error.
Yeah.
But yes, finally, some Catholics have turned their eye onto the cognitive dissonance of playing all this metal at this Catholic university.
Do these Catholics understand that, like, this is also a Catholic university, like, and it's always been so that way, like they've always kind of followed the rules. They're not really trying to be that edgy. That's just what they played. And it's always been strange to me that a Catholic university is playing metal. Like, it's always, my whole life, it's always been strange to me. But, they don't really push the line because, there's also FCC rules too.
I would like to hear the story of the founding of WSOU and what caused it to be explicitly metal.
Yeah.
Not like a neutral college station. Like, we are metal.
Yeah, and when that goes back to probably like the late 80s, I don't know who the first DJs on I mean, they're kind of terrible DJs. I mean, they're children, so they're pretty fucking terrible.
They're getting college credit.
They're really bad.
Don't knock them.
No, they're really bad. Like, I would do way better. Like, even if I was
the
20.
ones on primetime are usually all right.
Yeah, like the normal, like, but remember that show we were listening to once, and I was like, what is
that? That
was
not primetime.
It was that night though. Like,
it was.
I guess that's not primetime.
Primetime is like morning, evening commute.
Yeah, that's true. That's radio primetime. But it was like they couldn't even get the sound right, and I know they have like decent equipment there. I would imagine because the other shows sound fine. It's like they didn't even know how to use the equipment. It was horrific. But it's
But anyway, back to the story. The Lepanto Institute.
Wherever that is. I don't know what that is.
I did not want to click on the link to find out whatever they were.
We could watch the video very quickly. We'll keep talking. We'll do that in a second. Just keep.
I didn't watch the video.
Yeah, it reminds you of like old Satanic Panic days. Like it's kind of funny in a way.
Scroll back up.
But stand by, bro.
I don't want your thumbnails on the screen.
Lost my mouse. That's just what, Edward Snowden? Well, you don't like Edward Snowden. So yeah, there he is. There he is. He looks like he's like, now the devil is in here. Like, look, he's just like, there's like a whole like Satanic Panic thing. It's amazing.
Satanic Panic is back.
Yeah, we'll check out that video. But yeah, the attached video reminds me of kind of like a bygone day in music. When conservative politicians used to, and the clergy used to like constantly be assaulting. Remember those days? Well, it might be before your time, literally. But like in the early '90s, late '80s, this was just like regular, and there were a lot of people fighting against it. Like people like Rob Halford were kind of, and Ozzy were kind of like fighting back against it. But I have to say, I miss those days. It kept things interesting.
Simpler times.
Yeah, it was simpler times. All we were worried about is stations playing satanic music, and that scared people. That's what people had to worry about back then, But I'm not crazy about the idea of metal being normalized in society. I want the old days of war. I want the old days of conflict in metal when people were afraid of it. You think that's possible anymore? I guess it's probably not possible anymore.
People have real problems now.
I guess so. Like, why are you worried about metal? Like, who cares? Like, they're not. Remember, these people were worried about Marilyn Manson.
I mean, people are worried about stuff, but it's not metal.
Yeah, it's not metal. Like
they're all worried about wet ass pussy right now.
Yeah, I guess. But people have always been worried about songs like that too. Like Prince used to make songs, and people were like, "Oh my God, this is vulgar." So it's the same thing.
So there's always going to be vulgar popular music.
Yeah.
But metal isn't popular. So
yeah, I guess obviously
we're out of the fire.
Like Cardi B is like a lot more. She's like on the level of Prince. I guess she's not nearly as talented as Prince. But like she's in the mainstream target. So if you're in that target and you do something like that, you're gonna. They even went after like Cyndi Lauper back in the day for making a song about masturbating.
So yes, I guess if metal ever got big again, the Satanism could be.
Metal is pretty big, but not like MTV big. And there was a time when it was literally MTV.
It's not big enough to garner that sort of attention.
Yeah. So, regarding WSSU, like I said before, it is a shit station run by children. It's not edgy. Okay. It's what?
I want to say something. I appreciate WSOU.
Okay.
As Maledictus here has lived in New Jersey his entire life.
I listened to my whole life, literally.
So he doesn't know what it's like to live without WSOU.
Yes, I've had
I grew up in the middle of nowhere where we had one alt-rock station, and I could barely get any other things on the frequency.
What was that station called? Do the thing.
99.9 The Buzz.
The Buzz.
And, we had some other hippie-ass Vermont station I could get, and like...
Crunchy granola.
Was that
all day?
It was called The Point.
The Point. All day. They didn't have a DJ to talk like this, did they?
No, they didn't. They said it was the NPR. It was the NPR voice.
Hello, you're on The Point.
You're listening to The Point.
You're on The Point. That's how I would have done it.
And okay, I had no exposure to metal because of this. None. I also didn't have TV, so if I lived in New Jersey, I would have found WSOU because I would have found it. I would have gotten exposed to a lot of shit a lot quicker. So, yeah, even if it plays like, right now it plays like 90% garbage.
Emo metal. It's literally emo metal.
It does play the classics every so often.
Once in a while.
Still. So any kids listening to that garbage are still getting exposed to Iron Maiden and shit. Yeah. They're still hearing that.
They won't play Manowar songs anymore. They used to like regularly play Manowar songs. They won't do it anymore because they think kids won't like that.
Hopefully, that Iron Maiden's getting through.
Yeah, they're
getting through. They're like, wow, maybe they're noticing that the Iron Maiden's way better than,
I think, wait, can I interject? I think the Iron Maiden just comes out on their computer. It's like, oh, I'm playing Iron Maiden song. The kids are like, what's this? And they play it.
I don't know.
They probably don't really
I'm sure they're suggested to play some classics.
Yeah, it comes up on the computer.
But just the fact that I can hear Iron Maiden or Judas Priest or even just Metallica on the radio here is amazing, and it's not true for huge swaths of this country. So despite all the post-gentcore you can hear on WSOU,
emo gentcore,
I think it's important. It's an important thing, and it's a good thing. I rest my case.
Okay. It's new for you. Like, obviously I've had the whole thing my whole life. I've had, the
you
MTV.
take it for granted.
I do. Yeah.
You don't know what it's like to not have this, especially as a young person.
Yes. And I don't know how I discovered it. I like heard about it, and I remember listening, and I have fond memories of listening to it. I lived all the way up in Wayne at the time, and it's still hard to. And when I was driving your car up to Oakland the other day, to the DMV, I remembered WSU fades out up there. It runs out of range, and right where I used to live, I passed by where I used to live, and it started fading out. And I was like, wow, I used to have to like struggle to get a signal up there, and you still have to struggle to get a signal up there in the mountains. So yeah, it's still that way, and I used to have to kind of struggle to get it. And yeah, I started listening to it when I was like 12 or 13 because I wanted to hear Metallica songs, and there was no Spotify back then, so you literally they weren't playing a Metallica on
You didn't own it.
MTV. It was very rare. Metallica did have a video, but I did own it. But I wanted to like not be by my stereo all the time. I wanted to just be laying in my bed and listen, hear a Metallica song when I was doing my homework or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just we had a radio, and the radio still the 80s were essential, or even the early 90s were essentially like the 1950s. It really wasn't that much different. Like it was only we had like computers that somewhat worked. But
all right. Well, what this Lepanto Institute is doing is they're just asking people to sign a petition. I'm not sure what is the end goal of the petition. Let's click on their petition.
It only has
it's right there.
190 signatures. Well, it's probably updated.
No, it's more. It was more like 250
Here it
by
is.
the time
Let's
I looked
sign
at
it.
262. Very modest goal of 500 signatures. I guess they don't have much faith in their campaign.
Does that get them shut down if we get 500?
I think it's just a letter to the Cardinal, I guess, of Newark, who maybe oversees
Cardinal Tobin.
Oversees Seton Hall University.
Shut down your satanic. I'm for it. I'm signing.
No, do not.
Can we
sign.
shut them down?
If they get their full 500.
Do we get to shut them down?
Full 500 signatures. Maybe Cardinal Tobin will be swayed.
This is really bad.
No, we do not want WSOU shut down.
Cardinal,
I just spoke passionately in its defense.
No, but listen, Cardinal Tobin will hear it and be like, this emo metal is really bad, man. I'm shutting this shit down. Guys, bad.
Also, they do play like mass every Sunday.
They do. No, they do. They have on Sunday, and so they have like the Celtic Heritage Hour. Like it's like Celtic
but they also play a mass.
Yeah, they do a mass, and then they have the game too. Like whatever that is.
They do the Seton Hall basketball.
And they were playing some weird music today when we turned it on. When we went in the car today, it was.
I feel like we're picking up another station, like just in our driveway.
There's another station. I don't know. It was like weird stuff. But they'll play like stuff that isn't metal on the weekends. They kind of give the metal a break on the weekends. So yeah, that's a petition. And if you don't want to sign it, if you want to get rid of WSU, that's fine by me. Let's watch a quick portion of this video. We're not going to get copyrighted or anything. It reminds you of. We just skipped through
a radio station under the authority of a Catholic university and the local archbishop is broadcasting blatantly satanic music, and when called out for it, the archdiocese punted while the university ran for cover. In just a moment,
Metalcore is not openly satanic. I'm sorry.
Defense of the radio station.
Where did you get you can't just come out today and say this stuff. You can't just like come out today in 2020 and worry about this shit. You can't. Like everyone's just gonna be like, because we all live through that. Like most older people and like kids are like, what the fuck, like. And I don't think you're even like triggering kids with this stuff. Like back then, yeah, we were triggered by this stuff. We were like, how dare you say that? But but today kids are like, what? They're probably like, what? What?
Dude, kids today are watching Sabrina the Teenage Witch on Netflix.
Is that what they like?
Which features the protagonist going to a fucking school with a Baphomet statue in it. And everyone's just being like, hail Satan.
You thought, yeah, so you thought
okay,
Harry Potter was
that's
bad.
Way worse. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm obviously totally fine with that.
It's better than molesting
Normalize
kids.
Satanism.
Yeah. It's better than molesting kids. It's fine.
Like, that is so much worse than anything that happens on WSOU. Like, but I guess that's a big fish. They're like, this little college station.
Like,
I bet we could take them out with 500 signatures.
Why don't you go after some, like, I don't know, go, there's other things, like, aren't you worried about, like, Harry Potter or something? Or, like, what?
I'm sure they hate Harry Potter,
of all things, this station is terrible and harmless.
Maybe because it's part of a Catholic.
Yeah, they can't believe that it's part. It's dude. It looks like it's old. WSU looks like dude. When WSU came out, you were probably like a kid. Okay, this guy, like the guy's probably like around my age. That guy, like maybe he's a little older than me. And he could have found this his whole life. Like he could have been like, oh yeah, they have a metal station, but like it's like he just discovered this. He's like, oh my god, they're playing songs from I don't even know who. I can't think of like what's it like a WSIU band really quick.
Code Orange.
Is Code Orange? Yeah, they kind of are a WSIU. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Code Orange. There you go. Like they're like, come on, it's chill. Code Orange is children metal. It's metal for children. It's 20.
That's probably one of the better bands.
That's one of the better bands. I mean, they'll play Power Trip sometimes. They will do that. You can't deny Power Trip.
Code Orange is one of the better metalcore bands, but it is metalcore, which is for For the children.
It's for the children. There's a lot of stuff like that. And there's just a lot of just like these emo metal band. I don't even know what they are, but they have like guys that sing like this, and it's like, this is metal. There's one metal band on there that the guy literally sounds like the Matchbox 20 guy, but it's like a kind of a metal band.
They also have a death metal vocal though.
No, it's just the Matchbox 20 sounding guy. It doesn't change. It's just the Matchbox 20. It sounds like the Rob Thomas is singing for a metal band, a really bad metal. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, why would you play this? There's another metal band that they play often. It's called Against Brass, and it's like a horn metal band.
Oh my god!
And it's got this girl singer.
They love like weird Euro shit too.
Yeah, I think it's Euro. I don't think it's Euro. She's like Afro-Cuban kind of chick. She sings in Spanish too. 'Cause I looked them up. They're called Against Brass or something. It's literally a brass band with a guitar and a drum and a bass, but it has like a full brass section, like a full like 6-man brass section.
Well, you should be open to that since you're gonna start your black metal saxophone
project. Yeah, I know,
project.
but it's not. It's like a whole, but it doesn't sound like the kind of like stuff I would. It's just like just ridiculous kind of brass music, really like bombastic brass music, almost like a New Orleans kind of style.
So it's not metal; it's jazz.
It's that kind of. It's like a Dixieland kind of jazz, but it's metal at the same time, like almost like a new metal at the same time, like sort of like a forced in guitar and drums. Okay. But with brass, you just listen to it. You'll hear it. Like it's
I think I got enough there.
But that's something they play. That's an example of something they play, which I don't know. Whatever people, whatever young people. I don't get it. So anyway, that's.
But protect WSOU from these fucking weirdos.
Cancel it. It's fine.
No, you are wrong. You are objectively wrong.
I'm on the side of the of this guy.
You have benefited, and now you want to take it away from everybody else.
I want to burn it the fuck down, okay? Because it's not. It doesn't. I don't agree with it anymore. I want to
just because you're an old man that doesn't get it anymore.
I'm a disgruntled old man. I'm like, get rid of it. No, it made me. I can't say that. It like gave me everything. It had a major influence in my metal. I probably even mentioned it on the first episode of Here Lies Metal. I might have even mentioned. I probably did how they had a major influence. In my metal life since I was 12. So there you go. So that's it, everyone. There it is, as that guy from Mozart said. He's like, there it is. Yeah, that's all the news for today, folks. There wasn't a lot of news today. So what do I usually say at this part? I usually say something about
thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. And we have don't listen. You could listen to the Spotify if you want. The links are down below.
If you enjoyed this episode,
please
and subscribe.
I'm not reading the script. It's like just subscribe to the thing, and
leave a comment.
Leave a comment that
engage with us.
Yeah, there's nothing on this episode that that could offend you. Like really, I'm not calling out anyone. I'm not. There's nothing. I don't know what you could possibly do. Hit that like button.
I would like to get the Catholics in here.
Yeah, that would be great. I don't think we're gonna get them though.
No.
Like we'll get the real right wing people. We're not gonna get them though.
They're not trolling YouTube.
Yeah, they're not
looking for shit.
They don't. But hit the bell button. Right, it tells you when we have a new video. And comment, subscribe, and let's get some more subscribers up in here. So that's it, folks. So we'll see you again with a new show when we have news. In the meantime, start checking out our frequent reviews we're doing for you. We're listening to these songs, these bands probably you never heard of. We're putting up at least every week. So that's been the benefit of the bands.
It's not promised every week,
but most weeks we have stuff for you. Sam's keeping up the catalog. We're making these reviews for you and for the bands. So if you're the band too, chime in if you didn't like the review or if you did like the review. Let us know. So that's all for today, folks. We'll see you soon.